Well, good afternoon. It's a fine, snowy afternoon here at mile 36 on the Alaska Highway. And today, I thought I'd like to do RPOS Execution Excellence Quick Tip number 16. And I thought I'd like to talk about a subject that gets debated on every turnaround planning site I've ever been on. How much wrench time, actual time on wrenches, is available in a 10-hour shift on your average turnaround project. And man, I think we've all heard this debated every way from Sunday in the boardroom. Everybody has an opinion on this. I'm gonna do a little bit of a spoiler alert. Almost everybody that talks about this subject is not allowing themselves enough time to apply simple arithmetic, and a lot of the stuff I've heard at the boardroom table is just ridiculous. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to help you why. We're going to do a little bit of arithmetic here because that is really the best way to answer these kinds of debates. So we've got a total number of minutes in a 10-hour working shift of 600 minutes. So let's start with that. At the very beginning of the shift, I don't know anybody that is not expecting all crews to start each shift with a toolbox talk for the sake of promoting safety. So let's call that 15 minutes gone out of the day. Then they have to go pick up their tools. Let's say 15 minutes if you've allowed your GC to position their tools and bring in the amount of tool cribs that makes sense logistically for the site. The reason I'm bringing that up is I have work turnarounds where some micromanager on the team decided that the contractor was trying to fleece us with tool crib rentals and restricted them to one tool crib rental. In that kind of a case where that's happened, picking up tools is no longer 15 minutes, it's going to be 30 minutes. Coffee times 2. Now, come on, I don't know anybody out there that'll work a 10-hour shift without a couple of coffee breaks in the day. Call that 30 minutes. We're going to drop off our tools at the end of the day. Again, if we're well laid out, it's 15 minutes, but you can turn this into a way bigger deal by micromanaging things you shouldn't be messing with. At the end of the day, I don't know about the rest of you, but I want my crews cleaning up after themselves, primarily because it's just the right way to do work, but also because I don't want the operators coming to find me in the parking lot because of the mess that my crews have left behind. There's going to be a certain number of meetings in a day, and on this one I'm being super generous here. I'm saying that in the course of picking up, say each guy picks up 4 permits in a day, yada, 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 it's going to add up to about 45 minutes. Well, if the fella that we're talking about or the person that we're talking about had a couple of confined space entries in the day, most likely that time went above 45 minutes a day. So now here's the walking time. So all of this stuff we talked about, you got to walk there, you got to walk back. That's all coming directly out of the working time. So let's say that's 8 trips altogether. Let's say this is a well thought out site and the logistics plan does make sense so that we minimize these walking distances as much as we possibly can. We're still on 8 trips at 10 minutes per trip, we're still going to be looking at 80 minutes of our day gone. Now we'll stay with the thing that say each one of our craftspeople is going to produce 4 complete jobs in a day. Well, each time they go back to get a new job ticket from their foreman, there's going to be a work explanation. Let's call that 10 minutes per. Let's call that another 40 minutes out of the day. Whether you like it or not, people are going to take personal time. Now, I don't know, 4 times 15, that's been a pretty good standard for the last 30 or 40 years. Some of that is probably influenced by the tobacco smoking culture that we're just leaving behind now. Possibly this might trim up to 3 times in 15 minutes if smoking ever became something that wasn't allowed at all on these job sites. I don't think we're there yet. So, what does that leave us? That leaves us a total lost time of 315 minutes. It's not really lost. I mean, people were doing obvious things, as I've just shown you, but they're not pulling on a wrench, so we're calling it lost time. 53% of the day, 53% of our 10-hour shift has been used up in this fashion. I can't see any room to argue with that list that we just reviewed. So that leaves us 47% of each 10-hour shift available for actual work. time on tools. So this is the realistic baseline for wrench time efficiency. And I can almost hear the caterwauling from here. Nobody likes this fact. That's why I resort to something as unarguable as arithmetic. We're not going to have opinions involved in this discussion because it's just too rowdy when we do. We're just going to use the arithmetic that I showed you. This then becomes the realistic time. The maximum realistic baseline for wrench time per worker will be 47% of the 10-hour day. Therefore, 285 minutes. That's what you have for wrench time. Potential wrench time per 10-hour shift is 285 minutes. And that's 285 minutes on teams that are knocking it out of the park with planning and scheduling and best-in-class performance. And if you miss a little bit of engagement with the employees, it doesn't take very much to cut that in half again. Anyway, I just thought a little bit of arithmetic might be good for all of us on this snowy November day. This has been RPOS Execution Excellence Quick Tip number 16. Have a good day.